Yo, what's up, everybody? I've got another good one for you here, and this one is by Homath, my homie Homath. I love this dude; he's so funny. This one's called "Baby Talk: How to Deal with Awful Women." So yeah, let's get into this and see what it's all about.
If you're immediately reprimanding instead of listening and understanding, if you're offended by people's lived experiences, you're the problem. Oh!
You
Oh my god, dude! Jesus.
are the modern woman. You are in your car. Life does not feel quite right. Something is missing. You check the mirror to make sure it's not your meticulously applied makeup. It's not. You look fabulous. You are the modern woman, and you have an urge you can't quite.
Oh my god, dude! The crazy eyes, the freaking hand peck, double bird hand crap. Oh my gosh, dude. Whoever's gone on a date with this chick, I imagine it was probably awful. Oh my god.
Put into words. You let the urge run through you. You ask it what it wants. It wants to play peekaboo games, but there is no baby here. You have aborted all of your babies, and
Oh yeah, dude. There's over 1 million abortions every year in the US. Oh my gosh. Ugh.
ghosted all of the men who might have proposed to you because you are the modern woman. You take out your phone. Who is here? Who can I find in the phone to play peekaboo? What do they want to hear? You are the modern woman, so your mind floods with feelings of victimization. Women are victims. Minorities, 93% of the global population, are victims. The phone wants to hear about how much you love victims. And it wants to hear this as if it's the baby you refused to have. You are the modern woman, so you recall a children's song and you change the words to show that you know how bad white people are, and men, and white men. You sing your victimhood nursery rhyme into your phone.
Or offended by minorities talking about their lived experiences, you're the problem. If you're offended by women saying they're afraid of men, you're the problem. If you're immediately reprimanding instead of listening and understanding, if you're offended by people's lived experiences, you're the problem.
This is why I don't date and I stay home.
Oh!
You clap your hands. You make ugly faces. You roll your eyes. You hit 'em with the double henpeck bird hand special. The old 1-2. You upload the documentation of your hysterical phantom pregnancy meltdown into the glossy black void. And you wait. Someone likes you. Someone loves you. Someone has paid attention to you. You are the modern woman, and this is the happiest that you will ever be. Modern.
Yeah, so, dude, these kinds of women, they like to use words as a billy club to beat you into submission. That is what they do. They when they lead with lived experience, what they're really saying is do not push back against what I have to say. Do not do it. You're not allowed to challenge me because I've strategically positioned myself to be morally superior to you, and you're supposed to either agree with me or shut up. That's it. It's this preemptive defense that they put up so they don't have to defend anything, because everything that they're saying it isn't logical. They're not operating in the realm of logic or reason. It's just pure emotion and psychopathy. Guess what? I'm not denying anyone's that people experience things. Yes, people have lived experiences. Of course they do. The problem here is that with this in particular, is that the moment that any lived experience becomes untouchable to questions or scrutiny or anything like that, there's no longer any thinking tied to it. There's no thinking going on. If your questioning is considered harmful, then what? That's the thing, is that's what it is. Your questioning is considered harmful to these people. And you can't ask these people anything without being accused of something. Like I said, you either have to agree or you shut up. If you say anything that's contrarian or questioning or anything, then you get attacked, and that's the thing, you get these videos. The women put these up. The moment that anybody's confused and they ask a question, and I guarantee that this woman that calls herself an empath, these women are not empathetic. They're narcissistic and controlling. That is what they are. God, I hate the internet. I guarantee that, yeah, when she posted this, she just waited and checked and waited again for those comments, those likes to roll in. Dude, she was probably like some person that just took Molly and is just super high, just hyper focused on how they're feeling, just waiting for the Molly to hit their bloodstream, and they're just anticipating on the high to come. I guarantee it. But yeah, no empathy whatsoever. They crave attention and validation. That's it. And when they get rewarded all of those things, when they get that validation, that attention, it just fuels them to continue doing it. It's insane. I hate the internet so freaking much because it while it's connected people, it's taught people what gets rewarded, and it gave them treats for psycho behavior. Measured and calculated thinking, it doesn't spread near as fast as this crazy outrage content. It's crazy. All right, let's go
Liberal
back.
white women are not okay.
No.
They have changed into something called the awful. That's affluent white female urban liberal. This insanity is a consequence of the information age. These young women are being bombarded with emotional content, and it's making them lash out at the men they should be supporting. The information age is dangerous. Somebody could be selling your information to anybody, even these freaks. That's why this video, women never used to be like this. The internet has warped the mind of the awful. And they're supposed to be having babies, but they're not, so they're just treating everything like it's a baby.
Oh gosh, I hope that woman that I reacted to that was 38 with no kids, I hope she watches this. Jesus.
Including men, especially white men, and it's making us hate each other. These women...
This is the perfect example of how that woman responded to my video, responding to her being 38, not having children. This is exactly perfect for this. This aligns with it.
Want to appear like they know better than you, but awfuls are actually losing their grip on reality. They don't even know what their feelings are telling them to do. This one is teaching Uncle Mark how to respect pronouns, even though Uncle Mark isn't listening, he's not on TikTok, and this is what she sounds like.
Nope, they are telling you who they are. You just need to use your listening ears, friend.
Uncle Mark was probably in Vietnam. His listening ears are listening for something else. If women like this and this think they qualify as moral leadership for people like Uncle Mark, that's pretty sad. But the truth is a lot more sad. That's
the thing. We live in such a decadent society where there's nothing, there are no challenges, there are no problems. I mean, there are problems, but women live life on easy mode, so they're creating all of these problems that aren't even problems, and it's making everyone else really hate life. Let's go to the beaver.
Beaver was born in captivity. He has never been in a river, but he's building a dam out of whatever he can find for a river that isn't there. Because beavers build dams, that is what they do. And women nurture children, that is what they do. But they no longer have children, so they are scolding children that aren't there, in front of a camera, for an audience. Sometimes a caged bird will pull out all of its feathers. Captive lions or bears sometimes walk in little circles all day. A bird in a cage has a beak it's not using. It's gotta peck something. A bear in a cage has feet it's not using. It's gotta walk somewhere. And modern women have mother instincts that they're not using. They have to mother something.
That's it. That is it. It just comes down to denying nature, denying biology. We live in this day and age where these individuals, these progressive individuals, they deny biology and make life way worse for everyone else.
The beaver made a dam out of SpongeBob because that's the closest thing there was to a stick. The bear walks back and forth because that's the only place there is to walk. And awfuls, affluent white female urban liberals, lecture us like we're babies because we're the only thing in their lives they're allowed to talk down to. Modern women grew up surrounded by images of pathetic men who need to be corrected by the women in their lives, and then they went out into the real world and found that white men were at the bottom of the status hierarchy for some reason. The reason remains a spooky mystery.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, I've talked about this, how we were all the social engineering I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, and so that's all those sitcoms. The father was a bumbling idiot, and he was just so lucky to be with his wife, with the mother who was high and mighty and just knew everything and put him in his place constantly. Oh my gosh. And look where we are now. I can't believe that this is even a thing. It's mind-boggling. And this answers so many questions for me.
And just like a beaver is identifying things that you can carry, women are identifying things that deserve. For example, this guy does not need to be spoken to like a special needs child, but some of these guys might, and probably everyone from here down. Baby talk can be activated by low status. Now, there's nothing more low status than a baby. They're totally incompetent, they're helpless. They do nothing but need, and they give very little back. But in the absence of a baby, as is so common with modern women, they will automatically find the most baby-like substitute, often in the form of a worthless little dog, because the weakness and littleness reminds the awful of a baby.
Dude, every chick has either a dog, a cat, and of course they stay home and watch. They read true crime. They watch all of these serial killer documentaries. Yeah, every chick has a dog, a cat, and a Netflix account. That's pretty much it. And no kids, or they do, but there's no dad around.
That's why it's so important for the media to convince the awful that you are worthless and little. This is emotional programming. A woman knows by instinct how to treat someone who is above her in status and someone who is beneath her. The baby instinct goes down towards people or dogs that are powerless, helpless, or misguided, and she treats them like children who deserve equal snacks. And thanks to the media, the awful believes that no one is more misguided than white men, and no one is more deserving than everyone else. This is why they constantly vote for equality. They see you not as a man, but as the bad baby stealing snacks from the good baby, so they vote to steal snacks from you to hand out to all the victims who deserve, just like this guy.
FICA.
This is where our dating problems become more political and psychological, and that's why I'm expanding more into psychology. There's only so much you can accomplish by lifting weights and buying a nice shirt. You can't make the world function that way. You can only increase your position in the market, and that makes you basically the last man to drown on a sinking ship.
I think that's why a lot of men, they're just giving up and just staying home. Because what's the point? I honestly would rather. I saw this comment somewhere. Someone said I'd rather stay at home in the dark than socialize with NPCs. That's pretty accurate, because that's all that's out there are people that don't really think. They're going off of this programming that makes them insufferable. And why would I want to be around that? Why would I want to spend money? Because going out costs money, and there's not a lot of it to go around these days. Everything's more expensive, and people are just, they've got a screw loose. Why? Why be around that ever?
If you want to help me keep the ship afloat, you have to understand how your thoughts and your actions actually create your culture and your society, and how they also create you. And women like this are also having their minds created by their culture and their society, which you are also a part of. That's why I made this chart. Do you see the 4 colors? They are the same as the 4 colors here, and I'm going to use this to show you how you and Awfuls are co-creating our culture of disrespect. Here's a quick summary. Modern women are going nuts because they're in denial that they are women, and ironically, this makes them act even more like women. And this all comes from the denial of nature. People at these levels...
Yes, the denial of nature. They are refusing to be controlled by how they were born. It's crazy. Men have roles in society, in nature. Women have roles in nature and society. Yet, they challenge them. But they expect us to stay in line with ours. It's crazy.
Sometimes think that they don't have a lower self, that they can be something other than what they are. But it's not true. Birds are gonna peck and beavers are gonna build. We used to know that men and women were different. Most people with kids will tell you that little boys will make a weapon out of anything and little girls will make a baby out of anything. Men and women even process visual information.
Yeah, I have memories of being in preschool, and yeah, all of the girls, they would make anything into a baby. I remember playing house with the girls, and of course I was the husband, and they were making me food. I remember being 3 and 4 years old in preschool playing house, and I would go to work, and then they would clean and they would cook, and then they would make food for me when I got back. At a young age, that's what we were doing. We were in our natural roles, but then once society got a hold of us for long enough, then things became this.
Differently. We all know how men will open the fridge and not see the thing he's looking for, even though it's right there. That's because we look for where the thing is supposed to be, whereas women scan the entire area. So, men and women are wired differently, which makes us good at different things, and there are people who are offended by that, because...
Yeah, that's the thing, is men are superior at things, at certain things, and women are superior at certain things. That's what makes us complementary, but yet women want to compete with men. We can't have our own stuff anymore. We can't. They want to go into our gyms. They want to go into our any male space. They want to take it over. Can't have the Boy Scouts. Now it's just the Scouts. Even though they had the Brownies and the Girl Scouts. What the heck? Makes no sense, dude. They're just they're the child on the playground that is jealous of the toy that you're playing with, and so they have to come over and they can't accept that. They have to ruin it. They have to whine to the teacher and say and force you to share. And it's your own toy. Actually, that reminds me. That actually happened to me once in preschool. Some girl was she got mad at me because I had a cooler toy, and then she demanded that I let her play with it. And I can't remember if of course the teacher was a woman. I can't remember if she told her to accept the reality that that was my toy and she had her other toy, but I don't know what, I think it was like a drum. I had a little drum I was beating on. And she was like, "Oh my God, I want that."
Because they don't want to feel limited by the way they were born, so they just pretend they weren't. That's why childless women apply baby urges to things that are not babies, but then they'll tell you that it's not about babies, even though they're doing baby talk to the most baby-like thing they can find.
It's a baby thing. That's it. And that's exactly what that woman did that I reacted to that doesn't have kids at 38. She was talking to me like I was a baby.
Find. They are in denial of their nature because they don't want to admit they have one. They don't like the idea that what you are on the outside determines who you are on the inside. They don't want to be trapped by the way they were born, and they really
they want to take how they communicate that what you feel on the inside should reflect the outside, and if it doesn't match up, then there's something wrong with you, and you have to go get hormones and surgeries to make the outside reflect the inside.
really don't want to be trapped by your expectations. They don't want to be told the one true way they have to be. So even though this is a problem of unconsciousness, it's happening because they're trying to move higher and they can't get what they need. That's called self-authoring. It's a term by Robert Keegan. Listen again.
We use the names that people tell us.
That means I say who I am, not you. That's self-authoring. And that means I don't want to be told who I am anymore. I don't want to be forced to conform. I want it to be all up to me. She's just using pronoun people as an excuse. The problem is, when she says, I am who I say I am,
They are telling you who they are. You just need to use your listening ears, friend.
she's not using her listening ears when we say who we are. This is also how you can tell who the bad guy is.
Yeah, it goes both ways, but not in their mind.
Is making demands of you, but your demands are not her problem. She also looks like a beluga whale, and ugly people tend to be evil. So even though she doesn't know it, what she's saying here is, everybody has the right to choose their own identity and to be included, except for you, because you are a socially acceptable punching bag. This is a typical moral failure that
Yep, that's pretty accurate.
shows up at about the 6th level of consciousness. I call it false enlightenment, and it sounds like this. All the different ways of thinking from all the people in all the world are all equally valid. And if you don't agree with that way of thinking, you're the devil. You can be any way you want to be as long as it's just this specific way and none of these. So,
Yeah, basically, agree or shut up. That's pretty much what I said earlier.
Level 6 wants to understand everyone and include everyone and be included, but then you can't include anybody who wants to have things their own way. And that's most of the world. Recently, a white American girl tried to do this to the entire Muslim world. Listen to this.
If you are a Muslim who is transphobic and homophobic, not only are you contributing to the mass killing of LGBTQ people, you are also contributing to the Muslim genocide by giving ammunition to Zionists and other Islamophobes.
Imagine lecturing these people about trans rights. And imagine thinking there's a Muslim genocide when the population is shooting straight up. But for the awful, facts do not matter. All that matters is these are her puppies and they need love. They're minor. They're minorities. I mean, if you look only at white countries, they're minorities. The poor babies. It doesn't make any sense, but that's why we don't look to TikTok car girls for moral guidance.
And if you do, you should rethink your life. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't believe that doing the hand peck thing. Oh my gosh. Just lecturing Muslims as oh my gosh. I can't believe that, dude. That's just next level. I hate this planet. I hate this world. Bring the asteroid.
Here's how the chart is going so far. I made it chronological, so it'll start in your mind and go to your actions, which go into the world, which then act on awfuls, and then they will have their own thoughts, and they will have their own actions that go into the world and affect you, and it'll go back and forth. There are only 2 ways I know of to interrupt the baby talk problem. One of them is to just be someone she doesn't want to talk to like that, like a boss or an expert or someone she's attracted to. This is, of course, difficult to do in today's society. Most of us won't be able to get much respect. So the other way is to make her play by her own rules. Just sink down to her level and baby talk her right back. So if she says this,
If you're immediately reprimanding instead of listening and understanding, if you're offended by people's lived experiences, you're the problem. Oh!
you can go ahead and say something like, but if you don't listen to my lived experience without reprimanding, then that makes you the problem, doesn't it, sweetie? This is a drawing from an old video where The guy is basically saying he feels this, 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 and this, and then the girl sees only one of those four things and then misrepresents it twice. She changes the color and the shape and says, "Why are you always everything red square?" And the guy goes, "That's not what I said. I don't agree that that's what I said."
That is the majority of conversations that I've had with women in the past few years. I'm communicating, what is that, a pink rhombus? I'm communicating a pink rhombus, a star, a neon green triangle, and a blue circle, and then all they hear is red square. And I'm just dumbfounded. It's just not worth it. It's not worth the aggravation, and I like my solitude now because the world out there is filled with people like that. A lot of women are like that, and a lot of men are like that. Now, I'm not on the right, I'm not on the left. I hate this left-right stuff, but I will critique each side because they do exist. It's just it's very unfortunate that people fall into these two boxes. Because anytime that I critique anyone on the right, I'm accused of being on the left. Anytime I critique someone on the left, I'm accused of being on the right. So there's no winning where I'm at. My position is pretty difficult in the sense that I get mistaken for both right and left simultaneously, depending on who I'm speaking to. But either way, I digress on that point. Women now, these awful women, as he so eloquently put it, are the reason why men are choosing to not deal with it, to deal with women. Who wants to deal with that? This is a huge reason why I don't look at married men the same way that I used to, because there's a good chance that this dude is just some poor sucker that he wasn't even their first choice, but he's also stuck with an insufferable woman like that probably makes his life a living nightmare. And I would rather be alone than be with someone like that. A lot of people feel like that, where they have friends in their lives, they have a girlfriend, they have a wife, they have family, whatever, and the people that they're around, they're not aligned with them at all. It's so skewed that they feel more alone when they're around them, that they would rather just be by themselves because, well, if I'm gonna feel alone, I might as well be alone, not have to deal with this insufferable human being that just wants to argue and label me as an oppressor or whatever. Everyone is just exhausted. We're all fighting for our lives to just survive and pay our bills and eat decent food. That's not gonna, the food's killing us, the air's killing, like there's just so much going wrong in this world, and we're being attacked from all different sides, and especially men. And the last thing that we want to deal with is a combative woman, but they don't get that. They don't. It's crazy.
An example would be something like, "I'm worried about the economy, I see problems in education, immigration is a big issue, and technology is too unrestricted." And then she says, "Why are you so racist?" And it's like, well, that's not what I said. You left out most of it, and you distorted the rest of it to fit your cranky feelings. So you're really not including my lived experience, are you? So all you're really saying is everyone matters but me because I'm a white guy and I'm bad for no reason, and you're uncomfortable with my lived experience. So
that's what I'm saying. Feminism it's never been about equality. It's this superiority over men.
How are you not the problem? Here, I did a quick pencil drawing. She should be able to repeat back to you what you think, and if she can't, then by her own words, she's the problem. Awfuls hate it when you do that, because then they can no longer pretend to be morally superior. So if she wants to be in kindergarten, just make sure she knows she's not the teacher. Here's a quick story about a time.
Yeah, that's Put in the comments section if you can relate to this. Pretty sure you can. Yeah.
Time that I did both of these at once, and then I'll give you the chart. It's all done. Awfuls were my entire dating pool until I got famous on social media when I was 38. Between 2002 and 2023, I only met one woman who wanted to go out with me and was not insane, and she didn't want to see me again because I didn't make enough money. Every job I applied to for 20 years needed more diversity, so I met an awful at an event and we went to go get midnight tacos, so she was interested in spending time with me, meaning that she liked or respected me, and we were eating in the car, and she said that men should be more open to dating trans women. So I said, what do you think that would be like for me? That's me saying, have you considered my lived experience? And she froze and she said, I never thought about it that way. I don't know what other way there is to think about it.
Of course she hasn't thought about it that way. That's why I'm saying they're not empathetic. It's all manufactured performative empathy. They're not really empathetic. They're just full of themselves.
You just said men should date transsexuals and I'm a man, so you think I should do that, right? And she basically said, no, I would never get in the car with someone who took my advice that I just gave. What she meant was, these men should be open to doing that. Not the ones I like. They should be getting tacos with...
Yeah, dude, if she likes you, if you're hot enough, then you don't have to live by the same standards. And I've experienced that as well. Because I'm a pretty good looking guy. I'm not ugly by any stretch. And so, yeah, I don't conform to... Yeah, if I was in his shoes, I would have asked the same exact question. I would have thought about it in the exact same way. And yeah, I guarantee that whatever woman I was with would have been completely clueless and not even, you would not have thought to think of it like that in a logical and rational way. Because if you're saying that men should be doing this, then you're basically saying that I should be doing this because I'm a man. Yeah.
Me at midnight, but these men should be open to dating each other. This is how you win with awfuls. When they say men have too many girlfriends, they mean these men. And when they say men should date transsexuals, they mean these men. But they don't say that part out loud. They think you should know how they feel. So
yeah, they want you to infer that.
You have to abandon logic. Don't try to go from here to here. Use her own feelings against her. That's how they decide what reality is. What I did here was I made two of her feelings fight. She had one feeling that transsexuals are like babies or puppies and they deserve, and she had another feeling that I was worth getting tacos with. So I said, how do you think I feel when you tell me to date a transsexual? How do you think that makes me feel about you? And she had another feeling. Oops, I just made a guy I like feel bad about me. Oh no, I would never want to live in the world I just recommended. So if you can make her feel good about you, she might listen to you. Women take leadership from men who give them feelings. Or you can make her feel bad about herself. She's not including your lived experience because she sees you as less than human from all the brainwashing. And if
she likes you, if she really likes you, if there's that genuine burning desire, then yeah, that's how it plays out. He's correct.
She still says your lived experience doesn't matter, well then, neither does hers. So you can be in kindergarten, but you can't be the teacher. So you can win with awfuls by being desired or respected, or you can beat them at their own game. Be the biggest deserver in town. Be the table.
We use the names that people tell us, remember?
Oh, sorry, sweetie, but I'm just not somebody who sees a girl there. That's the way I was born. And we don't make people have opinions, do we? How would you like it if I said, here's your new boyfriend? Well, then you don't tell me this one's mine, got it? We keep those thoughts to ourselves. Talking down to awfuls works dramatically better than logic, which has absolutely no effect.
Logic it doesn't even register with them, so don't even bother.
Awful does not know what it is, and they never will. Awfuls are uneducated, overgrown children, and if you try to explain things to them, they're not going to get it or care, and they will just mark you as low status and exclude you from everything they possibly can. So here's the flowchart. It shows the interaction between two parties and the world they live in. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can download it on my Linktree and just follow the arrows. Basically, You are a regular guy, society gets weird, and about 48% of white women go completely insane and start hating themselves and their families in order to fit into a world that wants them dead anyway. They start using female violence to become enforcers of the status quo, which means mainly gossip, insults, lying, and cancel culture, which means ganging up to exclude anyone who doesn't cooperate. And
that's female violence. Females can't actually hurt men, and so they do it in these other ways. They can't physically do it, so they're more insidious.
this ruins society. You are then pressured to conform, and you have several choices. I added 4 of them to the chart. You can either be a coward and say what they tell you, which gets you access to a few low-quality, promiscuous women on SSRIs for mood disorders, or you can try to act all morally superior and
Yeah, and all these women are on SSRIs.
waste your time using logic on people who will never know what it is or why it matters, which gets you nothing and makes you a target. Or you can be somebody who is desired or respected, and then some awfuls will change their opinions to match yours. They will never know why they did it. They didn't know where their opinions came from in the first place. Or, and this is the most effective choice for most of us most of the time, you can just play their game better than them. Make them look bad. Show how they're excluding your feelings. Be the biggest baby in the room and show them how much you deserve. They can't be victims if they are victimizing you. This is the drama triangle. I'll go over it more another time. Basically, this is the dragon, the princess, and the knight in shining armor. This is Batman, the Joker, in Gotham City. Awfuls are always either playing victim so that they can deserve from you, or playing hero so they can help other victims deserve from you. You need to put them in the role of bad guy by saying, look how you hurt me. I took you out for tacos and you told me to marry this thing. Don't waste your time talking about the definition of a woman. They don't care about logic, only feelings. When you tell
Remember that. Always keep it on feelings, not logic. Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
me, this is my new girlfriend, that hurts my feelings. You are reprimanding instead of listening and understanding my lived experience. Basically, you have to talk to them like they are dumb babies, because they are. It also helps if you can get non-awful women on your side. Women just make better victims. There's never a princess in shining armor saving a prince. So, the only way to fix the baby talk problem is to either lead them in a different direction, which is going to be difficult because you're competing with the mass media, universities, and the government, or just use their dumb little games against them. Again, a lot of these women are just trying to grow up, but they're doing it wrong. They're trying to say, I don't need to conform to your expectations, my life is up to me, but then they try to make you conform to theirs, and theirs are not as good. Awfuls have become what they hated. They said, don't boss me around, and then they boss you around. They said, I don't want to be just a baby factory,
Yeah, it's just a bunch of projection.
and then they turned the entire world into babies. And they are fighting for people who are a threat to themselves. These are deeply broken, dangerous mental patients. They are the bad guy. Don't let them make you the bad guy. And remember, logic never works. I once told a friend of mine that men and women don't think in the same way, and she gave me a 10-minute lecture in a baby voice, which was the best possible proof that men and women don't think in the same way, but she did not get it. On the other hand, when I said, you hurt my feelings by telling me to take this on a date, I took control of the situation. Whether or not they know it, awfuls are manipulating you. Manipulate them right back. Remember to like, share, follow, subscribe.
Yeah, dude, that was great. He really put a lot of that into very simple language. Dude, I can relate to so much of that. And yes, do not use logic because they're little babies. They you need to go with the feels, not the logic. But oh my gosh, I am glad that I'm single, and I foresee myself remaining that way. I do not think that there are any women out there yeah, it's a supply and demand issue. There's well, even the demand's going down because men are accepting being alone, like myself. And would it be nice to be with someone? Yeah, but they don't make women like they used to. They really don't. And it's unfortunate. I hate that we grew up in a world like this. I did anybody else see this coming? I know I didn't. Especially, I posted a picture of me when I was 23 on my channel today. This video is not going to post until Sunday, but this is Friday right now. So I posted this photo of me back in 2008, all scened out, emo. And back then, dude, it was super easy to get chicks. It was way different. Women were different. I mean, they still weren't the greatest, but I also was pretty dumb back then too. I've talked about that. But either way, life was just simpler back then because 2008, yeah, we spent quite a bit of time on MySpace, but still people didn't have phones on them all the time, and we don't have what we have now. I don't think things really took a huge turn until 2015. Once all of these different platforms, these social media platforms got out of their infancy, like Instagram really changed the game dramatically. And then Tinder came out around, I think, 2013. But yeah, dude, like with the video I made yesterday about the dollar dying, and now you have all of the crazy psyops that are going on every single day to keep people distracted, and just the internal wiring that everyone has now. Everyone is just so messed up, and now we're all just online, just just be like, see, I know, I get it. I got to make a living just like everyone else, and so I'm. You may not agree with how I make a living, and I may not agree with how you make a living, but at least I'm not an OnlyFans. Okay, all right, peace.